Welcome to Kick Back with Chris. Kick Back with Chris, the martial arts podcast.
Brought to you by www.mittmaster.com.
Hi everybody, Chris here, and welcome to another episode of Kick Back with Chris, the martial arts podcast. Hope you're all well. Hope you're having a great week wherever you are. Today, I'm going to be joined by the fantastic Mr. Thomas Dodd, who is going to be joining us to talk about all things martial arts, life, film work, acting, all the cool stuff that he's got going on at the moment. Fantastic guy who I had the pleasure of meeting just before getting involved with the film Tribal. So he's going to be joining us a little bit later on to talk about that film and martial arts and everything else in between. Before that, as always, I would like to just do a quick couple of shout-outs. I'm not going to go into the regular sort of pre-show amble this week. I'm going to do real quick few little shares, and then we're actually going to jump straight into the interview with Thomas. So the first shout-out I want to give to is Mr. Neil Kirkland, who has just literally, a matter of minutes ago, sent me a link to an event that he's going to be hosting. I'm just going to click on it now. Got it on my Facebook, ready to go. So Eddie Quinn seminar on September the 14th. Now, those of you out there that know Eddie will know not only is he a fantastic martial artist, but top bloke as well. And this event is going to be in, let me see, it's taking place in Cambridge. University Sports Centre, Philippa Fawcett Drive in Cambridge. The tickets are going to be, they're all been arranged through Eventbrite. If you go onto Facebook and search for the Eddie Quinn Seminar as part of the Adaptive Martial Arts UK and Ireland group, those of you that have listened to the podcast in the past will know we've had Mr. Kirkland on the show talking about the fantastic work that both he and the group do. So if you get on board and support this, I'll just read the details. The one and only Eddie Quinn is in Cambridge to do a unique and inclusive seminar that will touch on and include elements of his world-famous approach system and Silat Fitra. This one seminar you cannot afford to miss. It's £30 per person and it's limited numbers. And of course, it's fully inclusive as well. So get involved with that and have a little look, see if it's something you can support. Moving on, let's have a little look into... Oh, I've got the same window open twice here. Professional failure. Let's have a look. I had it all good. There we go. Press the back button. So... The next one is from Mr. Del Sampson, who has popped on to let us all know about the West Midlands County Cup, which is taking place. Let me see here. See, the thing with these posts is they always get shared from another post, so I have to click. There we go. Sunday the 22nd of September this year. Where does it take place? I know it says West Midlands County Cup in the thing, but I'm trying to figure out, does it say where it is? Anyway, if you get in touch with Del, I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. There's a 600 plus open weight cash prize. There you go. Can't say better than that. Go and have a look. If you go on the wkuengland.net website, all the details will be on there. The next one is from Master Snow, who's popped on to let everybody know about Taekwondo Championships. It says they've done the Roman numerals thing. I always struggle with those. Let me see. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 English Open. Well, okay, we'll take that. Takes place on the 6th of Open 2019. It says it's got 6 full-size rings. All rings have 100% independent umpires, all the different information in there. If you go onto the website, which is ltsi-tournaments.co.uk, it says there's only 425 competitors allowed, so get in touch quickly. But yeah, that's the Open Taekwondo Championships taking place on the 6th of October 2019. Where is it? That's a good question. Don't know if I've already said that or not. Don't think it says on the post either. Well, you'll have to go on the website and find out. The last one is from Mr. Mark Lane, who... That was really not a very good one, was it? Just have to guess. Pick a place in the country and turn up. Mr. Mark Lane is running... got in touch to let everyone know that the Shelton Academy of Martial Arts are hosting a Filipino boxing workshop with the awesome Mittmaster... Mittmaster Matt, there you go. In High Wycombe, Berkshire on the 13th of October. It's a Sunday. It says they've got a few places left for non-members. It says, please can you give this... Oh, please can you... This is the question to me. I nearly actually read the question to me. He says, please can you give a mention on your excellent podcast? Well, thank you for saying it's excellent. I do appreciate that. For contact details, please contact either Mark Lane or look for Chiltern Academy on Facebook. There you go. So I've given that one a shout out. So we're going to go now into our interview with Thomas Dodd. It's a fantastic chat. We had a real good catch-up earlier on today. And then after that, we're going to be chatting to Mr. Matthew Chapman, who I've just mentioned a few minutes ago. So go check out the interview with Thomas, and I will catch you on the other side.
You're listening to Kick Back with Chris, the martial arts podcast, brought to you by www.onlinekicking.co.uk.
Okay, so joining me on the phone now, we've got the awesome Mr. Thomas Dodd. How are we doing today, sir?
Yeah, doing good, Chris. How are you, sir?
I'm good. We're glad we finally got here. Every single week it's like, all right, we'll do it this week, and then something comes up, and it's just, we know how it is.
Yeah,
busy times.
That's life, isn't it?
Busy times. So what I always like to do with these interviews is sort of go back to the start with the martial arts journey. And for yourself, when did you first get into martial arts, and why? The when and the why are always the key ones for me.
It was when I was about 5 years old, maybe 6 years old.
Wow.
Basically, because I started watching Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles and all that, you know what I mean? That's what it was for me, and I wanted to do all that, you know what I mean? So I harassed my parents. He took me to a local karate school. Big shout out to Dave Hughes. Okay. A lot of people, some people from the UK circuit will know him. Do you know what I mean? He done Uchi, Uchi Ryu Karate.
Okay.
That's where I first started. I've done that up until brown belt, and then I started training with my dad's cousin's husband.
Okay.
Who is Mr. Alfie Lewis.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So I started training at both gyms at the same time, and sort of like ended up in Alfie's more often than not. So I stayed with Alfie for about 3-4 years. I must be in like teenage school now. Do you know what I mean? Like secondary school. And then I sort of don't want to go too much into it, but like I sort of stopped going to martial arts and stuff like that. Started getting into bits of trouble and that in school, as you do, young lad. And then left school, come back to the martial arts, and it's pretty much been me lifeblood ever since. There's just so many different ways you can go there. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual. I know that's a bit cheesy and cliche because it's a bit of a fashion. Can be a bit of a fashion trend sometimes, and I think people get a little bit too attached to, I don't know, some things sometimes. And like at the end of the day, martial art. It's got to do what it was designed to do. And martial means military, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And so people get like talk, and I totally agree with it. And it, especially for like kids, youngsters, and that, you know what I mean? It can have a tremendous effect that like quelling young boys' enthusiasm for life, shall we say, and getting their energy out in a different way.
Yeah.
I think from a girl's or a lady's perspective, it's important for girls and not to be able to defend themselves because, let's have it right. Yeah. Some absolute beasts out there, do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
And from a man's point of view, I don't know what I'd do with all that energy I expend every day. It's just it'd be going somewhere. It'd probably be going inward, and it'd be like a negative way or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I like the creativeness. I like the expression. I like the refinement of it all. Do you know what I mean? It's like it takes its toll on your body, but at the same time, I'd rather do that than the alternative. Do you know what I mean? I get off. I get off on the endorphins. I go to the gym every day. Do you know what I mean? If I don't do that, my head's just not right. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've got to do that. Like, and as of recently, I haven't been getting into the dojo as much as I'd like, which for me it's a good now, because that's where the water comes from. Do you know what I mean? The water starts that's the top of the mountain as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? I've had to come down, because like at one point I was half like a monk at the top of a mountain. I just sort of like shunned society for a few years and just had to get my own head right. And I just sat in the house, studied martial arts, went and trained with Sensei. And
so you mentioned obviously training with Sensei Alpha Lewis, which I think it's fair to say that every single listener listening now, regardless of where they are in the world, will know about him, will know about his school, will know about his students and the success. What was it like? I've always wondered, what was it like that first time? Do you remember the first time you went in? You walked through that door. Do you remember that?
I had a bit of a different perspective on that, because I was always friends with Alfie's children.
Sure.
I was good friends with Aaron. Rest in peace. So I sort of see them as a dad first, and then I had to witness that. You know what I mean? I was like,
yeah.
It's Uncle Alfie.
Yeah.
And then you get in the gym, and there was just none of that. There was just none of it. It was brutal, man. But at the same time, I thank God for it. Even if at the time I was like this little kid and that, and like I wanted to be a ninja, but I didn't want to be a ninja that bad. You know what
I mean? Yeah, I love it.
Honest, bro, it was like, I'm not even, because that's some next level stuff that they get up to, that like we've always got up to. Even to this day, he's still turning them out. Do you know what I mean? And there's only one way to. He's got a method, and he's got a consistency to his method. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to be a great fighter to be a great coach, but he's a great fighter and a great coach. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's magical to see from whatever level you're looking at. It's magical to like be close to the guy and just like, have his respect and that. Do you know what I mean? Because he's like, I was a fan. Like I am a fan. Do you know what I mean? Even still, like I can go and train with him anytime I want, and still I'm just like, wow. Like, and he'll say something to you, and he'll just break you down and just make you feel like this, or he can make you feel like you're sitting on the shoulder of a giant. You know what I mean? He's a psychological master in my eyes. He's like, I like to compare him to like Customato or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Where he takes these kids under his wing and that, and then all of a sudden they could like come from really adverse circumstances. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're out there. Do you know what I mean? They're doing things and people are paying attention. It's nice to see, because, as I say, he still does it to this day. Like, I'm watching, like, you got your Odell Kamaras and your Cadens and your Tylers and your Conor Glovers and that are coming through now, who are just total beasts. Do you know what I mean? And that's the next generation. Do you know what I mean? It's even, and then you had like Marcus and Simon Dodd and Daryl Gallagher. Do you know what I mean? Callum Glover. And then you go back a bit more, and you've got like bloody Robbie Hughes and Paul McBride's, Tony Kelly's, Mark. It's just, and then you go back even further, and you've got like Andrew Boyce's, Carlton Abbey's, and Mad Dogs, and it's just crazy, isn't it? It's like a 40, 50-year legacy or something, like 30, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that, from me anyway, when I see the videos on social media and stuff, is it does very much, to me anyway, it has a feeling of a family, as a unit. You know, these are brothers and sisters that you could rely upon at any time.
100%, like 100%. Like, if I got a phone call now, it's not even like, oh, what's up? It's like, okay, I'll be there. I'll be there. Okay, you know, whatever. And that goes for like people who you've been in dojo with, like Alfie's like the golden thread that holds us all together. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, there's all people come and like sort of like something happens in there, like, and they'll sort of drift off for a bit, and then. But one thing for sure, if you're there, you're there, and you're there 100%. There's no half measures. Do you know what I mean? That's why everyone's so close, and that, because everyone's in there giving it 100%. Because if they're not, it's not a PC. It's not a very PC gaff. It's not a very PC place. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're there and you're training and you don't turn up for training, it's just like you're being selfish to everybody around you. You're depriving all them of a decent training partner. Do you know what I mean? It's like very much, it's a siege mentality. It's like us against the world sort of thing. Because like once you get into that mode, like it's different, like in the movie world and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone's just chill and there's no bad intentions and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, in that martial arts world, we're gonna fight. Someone's gonna try and punch me in the face, man. And like, you know, I don't care if it's a mosquito or a lion. You know what I mean? If it's got bad intentions to me, I've got bad intentions towards it. Do you know what I mean? And it's a sport and it's all this, that, and the other. But it's more than a sport, really, and it's those people like who's like it's not even it's not the pride or nothing like that. It's just, I suppose it is pride. You know what I mean? It's just it's heart in it. You know what I mean? It's just don't give up, no matter what sort of things. Like, you're not even fighting for yourself; you're fighting for everyone around you. So how can you give up? You can give up on yourself. Do you know what I mean? You can get this, that, and the other, but you can't give up on your family, man. No. You can't give up on the people, and that's how I used to see it. Like when I was fighting, that's like I was never, in my opinion, I'm not the best fighter in the world by no shadow of a doubt. Yeah, like there's guys out there doing it right now who are in training camps and this, that, and the other. They're the real animals. Do you know what I mean? They're like ready to fight and that. I'm out of it at the minute. Do you know what I mean? I've been doing the acting and whatnot for like the last year.
I would feel though that competitive instinct must still be there.
Oh, it is in a major way. It's like that's the best thing that Alfie's like instilled in us, or like one of the things that I appreciate the most is what they call the switch. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like you've got a lion, walking, you got a tiger like walking through the jungle, India, whatever it is, and it's just going about its business, and all of a sudden it sees a little flicker of something, and it's a deer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, man, that lion switches from going about its business to being about its business. Do you know what I mean? It just goes whack and it switches. I'm not getting all cheesy. Like, I don't want to get too like anamorphic or whatever you want to say it is. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like that switch to be able to go from like nice and jovial to just like a sick, twisted killer like in a second. Obviously you've got to mediate that, because obviously
you don't want to switch it on, leave it on.
You can it's not even so much switching it on, switching it off, because you can do that. It's to what level do you want to switch it on to.
Got you
because you can switch it on to any level that you want, really, and it's like whatever you repeatedly train and tell yourself in your mind, that's what's going to come out in reality.
Got
you know what I mean? So obviously don't go too far with that.
So you want it more as like a dimmer switch than just a straight switch? It doesn't want to be on off. It's
got to go past it. At the end of the day, there's a good saying as well. I'd rather be judged by 12. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yes.
I'd rather be in that box than in that box.
Yes.
I'm not about that life. I don't want to go to jail. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'd rather go to jail than die.
It's fair enough. Yeah. You were talking obviously a little bit earlier about your fighting and training, and I just wondered if you could touch a little bit on your tournament experience and time, and is there any point that stands out for you? Any particular opponents that stand out, or fights that stand out, or maybe not even so much fights, maybe periods of your time competing that stand out?
There's a couple of things that stand out. There's a few fights. I had this one time where I had like this out of body experience sort of thing.
Wow.
No, I went out of body, but time like slowed down.
Yeah, you hear that, yeah.
And the guys come running at me in like blitzing me in slow mo, and I've just stood there, looked at them for a little minute, saying like, "Wow, this is trippy." This, you know what I mean? And then swept him up in the air and punched him as he hit the deck. You know what I mean? Sort of thing, just like broke it. But I just remember looking around for a split second, and everything was just like in slow mo. This guy's running at me. It only happened like over a second or something. Do you know what I mean? And then just swept him up in the air and punched him down to the ground.
Yeah, you hear about people having that sort of experience in like car crash sort of experiences and sudden stress situations that everything seems to slow down. It's like your brain has this capacity to sort of control that moment and allow you to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do.
It's for me, like the when it happened, it was like sort of just as I come back, I went away for a bit and then I come back, and it was at that time, and I was just so raw and like real, and it was just like I was like I was like a grenade rather than a gun. I had no direction. It was just going off everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And like someone like Alfie sort of come along, put me in a scaffolding pipe. Do you know what I mean? And sent me off down that way. That sort of give me some trajectory. You know what I mean? So but that was that's something that definitely stood out to me. And it weren't like the best fight or this, that, and the other. It weren't this, that, and the other. It was just the guys, like, it looked like he was running at me in slow-mo, sweeped him up in the air, and I punched him down to the floor. And another good fight I had was against an Italian guy called Alberto Buson. Shout out to Alberto. Man can fight. Man can fight, man. We had a war over in Italy. We stopped all the areas. Everyone gathered around, and
Wow.
I was very raw. I weren't really like that's like I wear it on my sleeves like I could be knackered and I'm still fighting, so that's why I might look sloppy sometimes and that, you know what I mean? But there's always fight to fight in it. And I lost that fight, to be honest. It's one of the best fights I've ever had, and I lost it probably on a split or something, do you know what I mean? But I still lost it. And I don't know. It's just mad that one of the best fights I ever had, I lost. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and I think that maybe, if I can say, I think that maybe says a lot about you personally, really. If you can look at it that way. I mean, a lot of people would perhaps see it differently, but I think the fact that you can look at that loss as a positive says a lot about yourself.
Yeah. There's been a few fights, to be honest. Most of the fights that stick out to me are probably ones that I've lost. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, I want to get that guy back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll have all the excuses in my head and all that, and I'll sit there and I'll think about it, and I'll be like, excuses aren't worth crap, lad. Do you know what I mean? You got beat, better man on the day. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm still in my head. I'm like, I want to get back in, but at the same time, obviously, I've got other things going on right now. So I'm just there. I'm just gonna have to take the L for now, aren't I? You know
Yeah. So, obviously, a little bit later on down the martial arts journey, you decided to turn a hand to teaching as well. I just wondered when that came about, and was it something that you wanted to do for a long time, or was it just one day there was that click and you thought, you know what, I want to share this with others now?
Yeah, I was back with Alfie, and you know, you just see all the good that martial arts does. You know what I mean? I've done it since I was an early age, and it was all there. Do you know what I mean? I come back to it, and I'm lucky enough I come back to it just the right age, so I've still got like a bit of flexibility. You know what I mean?
A bit.
I know, yeah.
You got a lot, mate. You're like an elastic band.
There's a story about that as well, though. You know.
Go on.
There's a story about that as well. I used to get Sensei Alfie Lewis used to stretch me. He used to stretch me like 3 times a week. So when we used to train, we used to go in 3 times a week, and I'd have a guy sitting on my chest. I'd have Alfie in between my legs. There's a video floating around somewhere on Facebook of this. And I'd have 2 other guys on a leg each as well, and Alfie like in a controlled manner, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just push it down to the floor. Do you know what I mean? But this was like because I was watching people like Terry O'Neill and that. I'm a big, massive fan of Terry O'Neill, man.
Who isn't?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of them, and I was like, I want to be able to do the splits and that. And I went into Alfie, and I was just at the time, it was just like nothing to lose. I just without getting too much into it, I was a bit nuts. Do you know what I mean? And I just every day, 3 times a week for like a month. I used to get this like Jean-Claude Van Damme style blood sport punishment. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I've somewhat got some of my flexibility back as well, you know. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, you've got some incredibly impressive kicking, and not just the kicking, but also the balance and control, and I'm trying to find words. I've had one of those lack of sleep days this last couple of words just seem to filter out my brain. But no, you've got that composure and control that you can see in the transitions between your kicks.
Yeah, like that's very much an ethos. This is a lot of what I'm saying. Is obviously I've got to put it down. Spending such a massive amount of time with my sensei and all his influence and the people he's introduced me to and all that. So this is I'm not rewriting nothing new. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like remaking the wheel here. But what I will say is like a lot of what I do, it's all about balance. I can't just like I put up like on Facebook and I'll put up like a dance video every now and then.
Yep.
And it's just because like things like ballet and like the tempo, the rhythm, the coordination, your relationship to the floor, your connectivity to the floor. Do you know what I mean? Your structural integrity, all these things. It just has so much to do with what we do. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than thinking about like a kick as a kick and a punch as a punch and that, think in terms of body shapes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's I just go down a massive rabbit hole there. Do you know
I'm the same with that. I can talk about every single minute detail of a step to the left, or it's so important. So important.
There's a lot of things that aren't related to martial art that you learn so much for, and like I want to give a shout out to a guy here, right? And it's like he doesn't get the credit he deserves and all, but in my opinion, he's a massive genius. I've never had the chance to train with him just because I've always been so like I'm just into my training. Do you know what I mean? Where I am and stuff like that. Like if I come up and down that part of the country or whatever, I'd probably go and train with that guy as well. Do you know what I mean? If Alfie weren't there, do you know what I mean? But there's a guy called like Steve Morris. On that guy. Do you know what I mean? He's like he's not the most amiable guy in the world. No offense, Steve. Do you know what I mean? But the man's a genius. You know what I mean? Just like some of the stuff like you see someone share one of his posts or something, you read, then it's like that sort of approach. Like that Steve Morris approach, do you know what I mean? Where he just looks like a scientist, like a surgeon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude's cracking people's chest plates in half and he's like 70 odd years of age.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason he can do that stuff and all. It's like anything in life, you find the people who can do it and you look at them and you listen to them, do you know what I mean? Big shout out to Steve Morris, by the way.
Absolutely. So at the outset, when we first started chatting, 25 minutes ago already, flies by. You were mentioning obviously that you'd taken a little bit more time on the acting side of things.
Yeah.
What point do you think this goes back? I mean, I know of myself when I first started out in martial arts, it was a similar sort of situation. I was watching Karate Kid and all the stuff that you hear a lot of people say, and I was initially hooked by the visual element, the sort of the art aspect of it, you might say.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later on in training that I suddenly realized, that's the thing that initially hooked me, and that's the thing that I want to try. I want to give that a go.
Yeah.
What was it for you that was acting something that was always there that you wanted to do? Or like the teaching, did that just suddenly pop in one day and you go, I want to do this?
Like obviously every everyone wants to be when they're young, everyone wants to be the guys they see on the screen, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has idols and heroes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And I was a bit of a nerd. Do you know what I mean? And I can say that because I was one. Do you know what I'm saying? And I still am a nerd, I suppose. I always wanted, I always used to have my hand up in that, do you know what I mean? I always
yeah.
I don't know all that. Kids don't like that, do you know what I mean? So, but, like, growing up in that, like I did, everyone wants to be like a superhero and this, that, and the other, but like I sort of got, without going too much into it, I sort of went off the rails a little bit, do you know what I mean? And like I got distracted for a while, and then I took over a local community centre that was due to be knocked down about 6-7 years ago. We put petitions together. Not a petition, I shouldn't really say that, but we put like support paper, whatever you want to say, together.
Yeah.
And we got the building, saved it. We run pensioners bingo and everything now there, and the martial arts. So I started teaching me martial arts out of this community centre, as well as running all the other projects. And we started speaking to the likes of Zara, do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Got matey with Zara and Vic. They messaged Z one day and just said, like, how'd you go about? Do you know what I mean? If you don't mind, don't want to waste your time or nothing, do you know what I mean? But just a couple of little pointers behind, and they said to me, I don't know, get your head in a couple of little indie movies, do you know what I mean, etc. Get talking to people, get yourself about and that, you've got skills and that, just show them what you can do, and that's basically what I've been trying to do, do you know what I mean? And it's not, like, for me, like, it was always, like, because they got the rails a little bit, I've got this, like, little thing in me where I just want to make my mum and dad proud and that, do you know what I mean? Growing up in that, lad, do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people can obviously relate to that. That's a human thing, do you know what I mean? And now I've got kids, that's obviously passed on to there, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So now I'm all about making them proud, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, like, I've got the martial arts club there, which to be honest, I haven't been doing as much teaching as I want to lately, because we've been producing this film, etc.
Yeah.
And a couple of other projects we've got going on. But like, I've got my brothers there, Simon Dodd, who's got his first, I think it's a cage fight or K1 fight coming up. I think it's 13 for 14 on PFC Fighting Championship. Or it's one of them hard knock ones where they all bash each other up, you know what I mean, bro? So he's getting in there and he's having a go, and I'm super proud of him, do you know what I mean? So him and my other brother and my sister, they sort of like, because they're all black belts under Alfie as well, do you know what I mean? So they're sort of like keeping that going while I'm sort of like trying to trailblaze this little new path out a little bit, do you know what I mean? And obviously I can't wait to get back into like what I do you know what I mean? And like, because like I feel like I haven't been able to give some of these kids the due diligence that they deserve from my point of view. That's just me being me, do you know what I mean? I just, like, I take it very personal on that, because where we're from, it's not the most pleasant. It's a nice area and that, you know what I mean? And this, that, and the other, but it has rough parts, you know what I mean? Like a lot of places, like a lot of estate type gaffs, you know what I mean? They have some rough parts and that, so it's not necessarily, I'm not too worried about like the belts and the competitions and this, that, and the other. I'm more worried, like, what keeps me up at night is like thinking these kids getting into like getting picked on in school and getting their teeth knocked out, and this sort of, which happens, you know what I mean, or doesn't happen, do you know what I mean, depending on, like, and it's not all about just being able to teach the kids to fight. It's about spatial awareness and that, you know what I mean? It's about recognizing bad intentions and stuff like that, like building body language and negative behaviours and that towards you, do you know what I mean? Getting yourself out of that situation. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you've got to stick your back to the wall, back to the beach and just fight, you know what I mean? But a lot of it's not all about that, do you know what I mean? As much as, like, when I teach my kids, I do get quite real and raw and graphic, and I'll tell them, I'll talk to them in a graphic manner, somewhat graphic manner, because while always maintaining this air of respect and the switch it on, the switch it off, but that is because, like, especially in some of these rougher schools, these kids like going to the schools and that, and it's like, you're like, everyone, they've never heard no one speak like that to them. Then all of a sudden, the first person they hear speak to that to them is this young kid. And all of a sudden, the kid says something violent to them, and all of a sudden they panic because they've never been spoken to like that before. Whereas if I'm like that, you know, get over there now, get it done. That, you know what I mean? At least the sort of dealing with the pressure that comes with someone being aggressive towards you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, absolutely. So, at the minute, I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about, but it's not like it's a secret. It's out there on social media.
I know.
Tribal. How are you finding the experience? From multiple points of view as well, because, you know, with the added pressure of being involved on a production side and as an actor as well, and it's a very physical role. You know, how are you finding the experience?
It's amazing, really. It's like it's like there's so many different, as you say, there's so many different avenues that I could explain it from. Like from an acting point of view, it's been amazing just working with some of the talent that's been on board, like yourself. Do you know what I mean? And that, like, when we were putting our little secret thing together the other month, do you know what I mean?
Little set two.
You know what I'm saying? But like Mr. Ross O'Hennessy and Rachel Warren and Grayson Matthews, like these people who I've seen them on social media and that, do you know what I mean? I've always thought, yeah, they're talented. They conduct themselves in the right way. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's like I want to get in with them guys. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm on I'm on some of the poster work and that with them. Do you know what I mean? It's a cool. That's a super cool experience. Do you know what I mean? From going from like just building it up, just chipping out at it for like the last 10 years or something. Like people might not see that. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of the work's been getting done behind closed doors. But it's like, like 10 years or something that I've been working towards this. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm just this is like I'm starting to get somewhere. Hopefully, do you know what I mean? Like I'm starting to get a bit of recognition. Do you know what I mean? I'm not too bothered. Like, do you know what I mean about getting like pat on the back? I just want to, you know, as I say, make the people around me proud. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's nice to get paid for what you do as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Have you had the experience yet of seeing yourself on the big screen? Have you got that? Are you waiting for that one?
Not that I'm going to own up to right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But no, that's cool. That you see yourself in a poster, you see yourself in a trailer, and then you see yourself on a big screen, and it's just.
Nah, I'm really messing. No.
The best.
Redcon 1. I actually had a bit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Part, like an extra part, like back in the day when I spoke to Z and that. You know what I mean? Redcon 1. Big shout out to Mark Strange and
yeah.
I think it's Chi in it. Chi directed it. Big shout out to them guys because obviously it's been released and it's doing really well. So yeah, I think my face flashes up on there. So if you look really hard and scroll through it, you might find me on there somewhere.
I remember that as well. The first time I was in something that was like a bigger release, and I went to the cinema with my wife, my now wife, and I'm on the screen. I was on like, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds or something, and I'm looking around going, everybody's saying, that's me on there. You can't tell. That's me. I'm under all this shit. You can't tell it's me, but I'm like, look, it's me on there.
I've done a couple of them as well where you can't see your face and that, you know what I mean? You know it's you.
I was covered with all this like special effects makeup and stuff. You couldn't see it was me, but I'm like, it's me on the screen.
Yeah, no, that happens. It's just cool, and it's just like, if it's something that you're into, then you're into it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's besides being on the big screen, it's all the stuff that goes on in the background.
Yeah.
You get really close with people doing this sort of stuff, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of pressure involved. There's a lot of you're going through something with someone. It's like these training camps that we used to do in Mission Kai, which are like just notorious. Just get beasted everywhere every day. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not the same type of pressure. Do you know what I mean? That's like a physical, like emotional, Dunkirk style pressure. Do you know what I mean? But not to over exaggerate, like, but but it's the same in business and that. Do you know what I mean? You get partners and you both commit, and then or you all commit to the project. Do you know what I mean? You bring in good people, especially on these lower budget indie films. Do you know what I mean? Because you really do. You have to be like a family to get them things done. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be prepared to do long days. You've got to be prepared to like sacrifice your time. Do you know what I mean? And like everyone thinks like the actors, Disney actors, that, but the actors work damn hard, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The stunt guys, the cameramen, shout out to the Websters, yeah. What you call it? They work hard, them guys, first ones on setting all the stuff up, last ones off, don't get home till, and then they've got to put all the stuff on.
Yeah.
The amount of work that goes into these things, it's not short. The catering staff and stuff like that who are there every day, do you know what I mean? The drivers, I could just give shout outs to everyone right now because it's just, everyone's just been like, it's been really humbling. It's been, I know I'm going to be proud of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's been a lot of work, it's been a lot of rewriting plans and rewriting, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do otherwise?
That moment when you're at the premiere and you're watching it on the screen, and you can and quite rightly you'll have earned your space on the front row, but you need to stop at some point and turn around and look at everybody and look for their reaction, because that's a cool moment. It's a really cool moment when you've had a hand in creating this on the screen, and you turn around and see everybody else watching that and their reaction. It makes those 2:00 finishes and 4:00 get-ups, and it all makes it worth it.
I can imagine. Because don't get me wrong, like obviously the journey and all this, that, and the other, but that moment where it's like I no way compare, but you know what I mean? It must have like Michelangelo card for David. He must have just stood back, mustn't he, and just like knocked the dust off his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, wow. You know
I mean? So going forwards, after this, obviously, I you can't go into details, and I fully appreciate that. But are there other projects that you want to produce as well, or do you want to focus more on the acting side, or where do you think you'll go ultimately with this?
I think a bit of both. Obviously, I want to develop as an actor. Do you know what I mean? I don't I can do all the kicks and I can do all the punches and that, but like what a lot of people probably aren't aware of, that I'm doing a lot of work in the background, working on, say, accents and things like that, because as you can tell, I've got quite a thick Liverpudlian accent, you know what I mean? So
I hadn't noticed.
Different acting techniques and that, you know what I mean? Just dropping in and out of character sort of thing. That's like something that I feel like I've had some help with me. Martial artists help with that, because this ability to be able to switch on, switch off sort of thing. You can do that with any emotion, do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So you'll take yourself in the corner for 10 minutes and then come back out, and then you're part of the keg ready to go, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I enjoy the mental gymnastics of it all, do you know what I mean?
That's a good description.
Because that's exactly what it is.
I know this is a pretty typical question from an acting perspective, but who do you look up to as an actor or a performer? Who do you aspire to be? I know ultimately there's only one of you, but who do you aspire towards being similar to?
It's as cliche to a degree, do you know what I mean? But obviously, it just sounds so cliche, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just the normal greats, do you know what I mean? You've got your Al Pacinos and that, do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not no Cuban American guy, do you know what I mean? But it's just that sort of style. Obviously, from a martial arts actor's point of view, do you know what I mean? You can't really talk about UK martial arts action without talking about like Scott, Michael, Jai White, and people like this, even like Jason Statham, who's just killed it. You know what I mean? Like these sorts of actors, who even Vinnie Jones likes them too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's just like you really portray their character really well, and they've done something with themselves, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? They had a plan and they went for it, and they've achieved success. Hats off to them. Do you know what I mean? These are the types of people that I want to look at. I want to see what they're doing, and then hopefully,
star alongside.
God willing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Star alongside.
So basically, from acting point of view, though, you got your Marlon Brandos and all this. Do you know what I mean? There's just so many different levels you can go with acting. You've got Al Pacino in the Merchant of Venice. Do you know what I mean? Which some of this old Shakespearean stuff and that, which like is still all very applicable today. Do you know what I mean? Like one of the future plans that I've got is actually like an action film based on the Merchant of Venice. On the Merchant of Venice, but like obviously brought into a modern day setting. Do you know what I mean?
You heard it here first, guys.
There you go.
Little bit of a tidbit there.
Exclusive.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, hang on 1 second. Connection went there. I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah. As far as Tribal goes as well, I'd just like to say, like, it started off something and it's finished something else. Do you know what I mean? It was always going to be an independent film that was going to push the benchmark, push the boundary. That's what we had in mind. But it well and truly done that now. And like, obviously I can't say too much about things, do you know what I mean? But there's been some exciting developments with distribution deals getting done. Do you know what I mean? Can't say too much about it.
Yeah,
but
obviously not.
It just turned into something else, and it's been amazing to watch. And that's all essentially. It's turned into a beast because of like just all the little things, like all the we had loads of people just coming down to set and just volunteering that because the goodness of the heart and stuff like that, like people who I know and that, they're just coming up to me just like, can we do anything to help you and stuff like that. Probably, I don't know, like, because you can see us when people see you helping yourself, they're gonna help you, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? If you won't help yourself, no one wants to help you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very true.
Basically, so,
very true.
It's turned into something else, and like we've got a guy from Hollywood musician. The composer, Stefan Thum, I think his name is. He worked on like not the Avengers. Forget what he's worked on.
Lots of cool stuff. That I did actually see the post. I'm going to see if I can find it.
What it was though.
Transformers.
He done the scores for Transformers, etc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got obviously Mr. Ross O'Hennessy from GOT. Do you know what I mean? Lord of Bones. Who's been? It's been great working with Ross. Absolute professional. Can't say enough nice things about the guy. Really nice. Shout out to Ross.
Yeah, I found the Mission Impossible, Geostorm, Transformers.
Yeah.
That's a cool scoop. I'm looking forward to hearing that. That's going to be cool.
We begin filming again this Monday. We do. I think we've got 2 days next week, and then we nail out the last of the block. I think it's something like 10, 11 days, something like that. Probably not right like do you know what I mean? But somewhere around 10, 11 days more filming. We've got a certain individual coming. Can't say too much about it, but we've got a certain person coming down to set with regards to one of these distribution deals, etc. Who's going to be in the film, etc., etc. And that's about all I can say about that.
Just make sure it's not a day I'm there then.
No, I'll make sure it is the day you're there because we'll sell it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Between us, we're on fire.
Yeah, we'll sell it, lad.
But yeah, I don't think we can say too much about that either. But you know, I am looking forward to getting involved again, and it's going to be good fun.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. It's not long now.
Yep.
Not
long now. Well, listen, it's been absolutely great talking to you, and thank you for sharing your experiences in the martial arts and obviously in life and in film.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best with everything.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know, just trying my best. You know, like everybody else, get up in the morning. Do you know what I mean? And try and keep myself occupied. I've got one of them minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But, I just want to say a big thank you to. With regards to the tribal and that, I just want to throw a big shout out there to Cataclean Racing.
Yep.
These are some of our sponsors: Cataclean Racing, Ballpark Developments, 24/7 Noon Part 1 tyres, and All Machine and Plant Hire, and Friends of Allerton Towers.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say big thank you to them guys, because they're the people who've given local people a chance. Do you know what I mean? These are people who've been there, done it, and then they're coming back to help other people achieve their dreams. So, big thank you and respect to them guys.
Big shout out to those guys. Brilliant
big
stuff.
Shout out to Sensei Alfie Lewis as well.
Absolutely.
And my mum and dad.
Yes. Without whom none of this would be happening.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time, and we'll catch you up very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude.
Brought to you by www.mittmaster.com.
So big thanks to Thomas there for his time. I think you'll agree. Very insightful interview. Lots of really cool detail there, and really good guy. It's with the film industry and martial arts in general. Get to meet lots of people, and I can safely say that Thomas is one of the most nicest, decent, genuine guys I've ever met in the industry, and look forward to working with him very soon. As I mentioned, again, I'm going to be working with him on Tribal, and fingers crossed on many more productions to come. So now we're going to jump straight into our nearly weekly Mat Chat with Matthew Chapman, and quite a cool one this. Enjoy, get those pens and papers ready to take some notes, and I'll speak to you after.
Enjoy our podcast? Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review Kickback with Chris on iTunes today.
Joining me on the phone, as always, we've got Mr. Matthew Chapman.
Hello, sir. How are we?
Awesome. Just one word.
Just awesome. Is that it today? We're just awesome.
Just awesome.
But the weather's been lovely, isn't it?
Well, it's absolutely pissing it down here at the minute, to be honest.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Down here in the sunny south, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, in Spain, yeah, of course.
No. In Essex.
Same thing, is it not?
It, pretty much, yeah. Apart from the sangria, it's about the same.
So, and the scenery. Keeping busy. Lots going on.
Yeah, just been doing a lot of fat mat chats with various instructors around the UK, which has kind of been fun. It's quite nice driving to a private and just having a chat with instructors and trying to help them out. It's been good.
Where did that come from? I'm sorry, I'm giggling away. Like fat mat chat.
Well, obviously we got mat chat, but I'm currently fat, so it's fat mat chat.
But you're less fat, Matt. Now,
well, I was less than I was, so I'm about half as fat as I should be. So I hit 15 stone through sitting on my butt and not, being in the gym and teaching and training as much as I was. So then I've cut it down. I'm just under 14 and a half, but I need to be 14 to be content. So I'm sort of semi-fat Matt.
So it's semi-fat Matt chat. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. I've been doing lots of those. They've been really good. It's just nice talking with instructors because I've taught in a full-time school for 19 years. So I kind of relate to a lot of their problems that they're going through and give them a different perspective on things, which is quite nice.
Absolutely. Right. So what should we talk about this week then?
Well, one of the things I've been talking to a lot of instructors about is the Field of Dreams problem that they seem to be stuck in, which is, if you've seen the classic Kevin Costner movie.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, well, you should do if you haven't. It's a tearjerker. If you build it, they will come philosophy that is in that film, which seems to somehow just be stuck in martial artists' head that, that you build a fantastic facility with, changing rooms and showers and beautiful mats and stuff on the wall and all this fantastic stuff. And then they just kind of sit back and just hope, what I call hope marketing, where people will just walk through the door, and it doesn't seem to be working like that, sadly.
No.
And this is really common. I don't quite understand why martial arts instructors just believe if you build this amazing dojo, people will just turn up.
Yeah. I've been there. I've done that before. I think it was easy. Well, I don't know if saying it was easy to do is the right way of phrasing it, but I think it was an easier trap to fall into sort of when I was setting up in the early 2000s because there was no social media.
Yeah.
There was no sort of online marketing or anything like that. So I think it was kind of easier to fall into that trap of, I've made this brilliant place, and everybody will know about it from the one newspaper article that I've had.
Right, yeah.
Everybody in town, 30, 40,000 people, they're all going to know about it now because of my one newspaper article that 10 people read.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it was easier then, but I know what you mean. I think a lot of people now are sort of more, well, not a lot of people. Some people can be sort of reactive, can't they? Like, I'll sit and wait because everyone's going to turn up, and then they kind of go, "Oh shit!"
Yes, and also like they spend so much money on the facility and just like zero on marketing. So they'll spend, 10, 20 grand fitting out with zebra mats and, all of this quality, high quality stuff, and it looks the business. And then they literally won't spend anything on marketing, maybe some flyers, and that's about it. And I'm like, oh wow, guys.
Yeah, and then they get really cross at the guy around the corner that rents the church hall that's got 200 students. They're, in their opinions, teaching rubbish, but their classes are rammed because they're proactive and they're getting out there and telling people they exist.
Yeah, that's the secret. It's called know, like, and trust for a reason. First of all, people have to know that you exist and that you're there. So I always say to these guys I have a conversation with, look, I could put the best martial artists in a custom-built, fantastic martial arts training facility, take the 10 best martial artists in the world, put them in there, shut the door. And if I don't tell people about it, you're not going to know that these amazing martial artists are all locked up, ready for you to use. You have to spend time, money, energy, effort to tell people about your facility and your lessons and what you offer and how it can help people. And that has to be done consistently every day you're in business until you die.
That's the key, isn't it? The consistently part. It's very easy to splurge on your advertising and then back right off. And then sort of go, oh, I know what's happened, and have a mass panic, and then be reactive again. And it is hard. I mean, I've done that before. I've gone, oh my God, I'm so full. What am I going to do? I can't fit anybody in. And then inevitably, you do lose some members, or something changes, and then all of a sudden you go, oh crap, I've lost 10 members, and then you're like, oh, hang on. If I'd have just been keeping on top of the advertising sort of scripting, this wouldn't have happened, would it? So yeah.
No, marketing is not an act. It's not an event. It's something that you have to keep doing literally daily as long as you're in business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-off event that you do and then you stop. You have to be repeating and working on it. So I usually advise them to actually start marketing. I don't really mind what they do, but they have to do you have to do something. Even if you want to go old school and get flyers out there and speak to the press and do all that sort of thing, that still works.
Yeah.
But obviously there's lots of other more modern things you can do to complement that. But just doing something would help these schools. Especially if you're like launching a new school, I would spend at least 3 months building up the launch and getting interest and getting waiting lists and getting people's emails and phone numbers and Facebook messages before you open the doors. But people don't do that. They put all their heart and soul into building this beautiful facility, and then like a week before they go, oh crap, let's get some flyers out.
Yeah, there's martial arts as a whole. I've found they tend to put up this sort of psychological wall as well between I am a tough, hardcore martial artist. I cannot do any of that advertising stuff. It's dishonest. And it's like, well, that we're not that mentality. Just it doesn't fit anymore because the people that you're trying to connect to are being bombarded by all of this stuff you don't like. On a daily basis from everywhere else. So if they're seeing the adverts from the local soccer tots or the local whatever it is that's going on, if they're seeing that and they're reacting to that advert, that advertising, they're not going to react to your advert. This I'll be careful with this, but there's somebody close to myself who their advertising is all based around what they don't do.
Interesting.
We don't do direct debits. We don't do this. We don't do that. And it's like, okay. But I don't think anybody really cares about that.
No.
They don't care about the things that you don't do.
No, they care about the things you do. Exactly. Yeah.
What can you help me with? Well, we won't make you sign a direct debit. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but what about my fitness, self-confidence, etc.?
Exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? You're solving the pain and blah blah blah. Not going on a power trip of, well, my school, we don't give away belts. Oh, okay.
Well, neither do most schools. But...
great advertising.
Do you know where this all came from?
What's that?
This kind of making money from martial arts is dishonest and bad. Well, it originally came from the Far East, where like the monks who used to train martial arts weren't allowed to have jobs, obviously, because they're monks. So therefore, they had to rely on the local community to give them food and various other things so that they could live, right? So they couldn't earn a living from martial arts. Now, when it came over here, the first masters who came over still had that kind of mindset about, you don't do it for a living. It's an honorable profession, that type of thing, because it came from the monks originally who were, the practitioners of martial arts. So generationally, it's still there. There's still people who are like 2 or 3 generations removed from the first people who came over to teach martial arts in the UK from the Far East. But that's going to get less and less and less and less until people realize that, it's a profession like any other profession, and you can charge, and you can advertise, you can make money, you can support your family, and you can actually do a better job of that the more students you have and the more you take care of your students.
I think if people were a little bit more up on that, I think maybe this mentality, it's so far removed from where the world is now. It's there's nothing wrong with charging for a good service.
No, of course not.
Now, if you're charging for something that's incredibly ropey and it is, then
that is morally wrong, definitely.
So I you could argue that that's subjective, but I think deep down that ultimately the person that's providing the classes knows whether they're making it up or not.
Very true. It's a weird one, isn't it? I mean, people really do invest a lot of time, energy, and effort into their facilities, and by comparison, just like don't spend anything on their marketing. I'm not quite sure whether they're actually worried about people turning up, or I think it's what it is for us martial artists. Is we've always wanted a dojo of our own, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And the more blingy and amazing the dojo looks, the better it makes our egos feel and how we feel. And we'd almost prefer it if no people turned up and messed up our dojo. If we could just earn a living just having a dojo but with no one in it, I think quite a few would.
Absolutely. You spend all this money on it and you get it all nice and you get it all matted out, and then you stood at the front, doing your best senior instructor pose. Everybody, feet out, legs out straight, touch toes, and then you turn around and little Billy's picking holes in your mats with his thumb.
Yeah, I know. It used to drive me mad. There's one kid that used to do that all the time. I was like,
or when they lean forwards and put the fingers out like claws, and you just hear this as they drag their nails down your mats, and you're like, you knew how much that one mat costs.
So I think it maybe it's just an ego thing, and that actually they're not that worried if anyone turns up, but they do get worried when they can't pay their rent, they can't pay the staff, and then it all goes a bit scary. So I would just like martial artists to allocate a budget, either monthly or some sort of budget to their marketing spend. Now I've heard that most people in business allocate 15 to 20% of their gross on marketing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that would work in the martial arts industry, but
I mean, I think slowly but surely the industry this sort of ragtag bunch of martial arts people we are coming around to this mentality of it's okay to advertise. You see more and more people attending different courses and learning. It is an art in itself, isn't it? I mean, we learn the psychological elements as alongside the physical elements of martial arts. But I've quite enjoyed learning the psychology of sales. as well, because it's great.
Well, see, to me, it's the same stuff as martial arts. That's why I like it, because it's all based on positioning, leverage, dominance, perception, which is the same as in martial arts. You get to a dominant position, you use leverage, and it's the same stuff, just applied in a different place.
Yeah, the use of like open questions and all this sort of stuff. I like it. It's cool, and and you can use it all and still retain the morals and ethics and honesty that you would assign automatically to martial arts. You don't have to start lying. I think that's the bit that people get a bit, car salesy about it. But
of course,
you don't have to do that. It's there. And do people do it? Absolutely, they do. But you don't.
I'm also not a fan of hard selling people. I've never hard sold anyone at my school. You're right. You're dying there. You okay?
Yeah, it's damn cold.
I can hear it. Jeez. Get some antibiotics.
I've had all those.
But I never like the hard sell. I've seen it in some places where it's almost like you're leading them down a path they don't want to go, but they don't know how to get off the path. And that type of hard selling, I'm not a fan of either, because I think eventually people resent it and are not happy about the situation.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the whole contract thing with children as well, I think also is a bit strange.
It is more than a bit strange.
Because
I've had a good old rant about this before. Yeah, it's not right at the end of the day. It's not right.
Adults, maybe, but kids. Sure.
We use direct debits, which I know even some hardcore instructors, old school maybe, argue, I don't know, they don't like those either because they feel that that's tying in. But I say to them from the outset, the longest you're committed to anything here is a month.
Yeah.
So if Billy's training this month and he's enjoying it, and next month he's not, all we ask is that you pay for the month of the classes that you've used, and then you can leave. Not a problem.
Yeah.
And I say to them on day one, this is our responsibility to you to provide the best service that we can.
Yeah.
That my staff are on their toes, providing the best service that they can.
Yeah.
We're not going to sign you up for 12 months, take the foot off the gas and just go, well, never mind, they're here for 12 months anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
If they leave, I got their money anyway, so what does it matter? I don't like that. I don't like that. No. I'm not saying that people that use contracts do it for that reason, but that to me seems to be the reason why you would.
Well, they do it to secure their finances for their business, which makes, from a business perspective, perfect sense. But for mum and dad whose kids 4-year-old kids tried it for 2 weeks and then doesn't want to do it anymore because it's too hard, it's tricky, isn't it?
Well, you don't want them. You don't want a class full of kids that don't want to be there.
No. But you also want to encourage kids to overcome obstacles and not quit. But I don't know about this, 2 weeks a bit early, isn't it? If they've been training 6-8 months and, they're feeling the pressure a bit, then you can motivate them. But I think early on. So I don't know if they do contracts where you can get out within the first 2 weeks. I would think so. With most contracts, you have 14 days.
Well, legally speaking, you have a cooling off period for all of them anyway. But you do. I mean, I have come across horror stories of people, their kids being locked in for multiple, not the kids obviously, but the adults, they're locked in for multiple years, and for whatever reason, they need to stop. And there's people sending out nasty letters and all this, and there's no real need for it. I don't feel there's a need for it. I mean,
no. And also in today's social media world, where you can get ruined by that type of behavior. You do something like that, and they just demolish you in the local community. So
I've seen it, mate. I've seen it. You send out you default letter. We're going, you've got this amount of days to pay, otherwise this is going to happen. And they take a screenshot, they put it on Facebook, and you have had it. And I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen. And I would.
In the Google reviews, they can leave, which you can't take down. The Facebook reviews, in Yelp and all these different directories, they can just, I don't really know if it's worth it. I don't think.
I don't think it is personally, but anyway, we've sort of gone off.
Should we try and get someone who actually does enforce contracts to? So if you're out there and you're a martial artist who does have contracts and enforce them, and if you wouldn't mind getting in contact and letting us know how it works out for you, and that'd be interesting, because that's just our opinion. But obviously, there's people out there who do it.
Oh yeah, I've worked for people that have done it. So I've worked for people. I've sold them. I've sat and sold them for my employees in the past. And it wasn't. And actually, thinking about it, I've used them as well. When I first opened,
right,
we've used them. There were 90-day cancellations. So you joined, and there's a 90-day cancellation process on it.
Right. How did that go down with your students?
The majority of them followed suit, but I'd been brought up through that system, so I didn't really know any better. It wasn't until I was in a position I was like, hang on, this is my school.
I can do what I like.
Well, it was more, this is coming back on me. This is not, I'm not working for somebody else. So I can't go, oh, I'm really sorry, I'll put you on to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Pass on the phone.
Yeah.
It's me. So I was all of a sudden this, hang on, am I happy with this? Do I feel this is the right way? And it didn't sit right with me, so I stopped doing them.
But interestingly, in lots of other businesses, they have contracts. You have mobile phone contract and all the other stuff, which we all willingly accept, that we're stuck with the same mobile for 24, 48 months or something, and we sign up to this. So it may not be a bad thing. I'm not sure. It's very interesting, isn't it? Because obviously it's good for the business, because you're almost guaranteed that money for the length of the contract.
Yeah, I see you. I do see your point, and I understand where you're coming from with that one. I just don't know that it's right for a 4-year-old, because you don't see many. You don't go into O2 and see them hard selling an iPhone X on a 4-year-old.
True. It's I'd like to get some listener feedback on this, because I'd like to know what people think about it. You see, the thing about martial arts, which is the coolest thing about martial arts, is you can do it any damn way you like.
Yeah.
And that's also the problem with martial arts, is you can set up your business any damn way you like, and it's pretty much unregulated, and it's just how it is. So if you want to go old school and charge £2.50 a less, 50p a lesson, you can do. And if you want to go like mega hard sell contracts and premium pricing, you can do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And I know that there's been some rulings in the last few years with regards to contracts longer than 12 months.
Oh, is there?
Legality of them being enforced. Yeah, I think there's been some rulings that have made them a little bit more difficult. But to each their own.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You get to do what you do, and you get to reap the consequences of it as well. Either way.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic chatting with you, sir.
Thank you.
What have you got planned for this weekend? Anything nice, or are you just going to...
I don't even know what day it is anymore.
It's the holiday effect, isn't it? It's the and I say Christmas holiday effect, then the summer holiday effect.
Yeah, kids are off school, and you're like, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Friday today?
It's Friday today.
Right. Tomorrow I'm finishing off my latest curriculum. I'm writing a JKD for combat sports curriculum.
Very
so
cool.
I'm just finishing that off and getting it out for Sunday. So I'll just be kind of tinkering on the computer all tomorrow, I expect, and eating food and getting fatter.
Make it a salad.
I do eat quite a lot of salad, but I just need to. I went from on the mat every day for 4, 5, 6 hours a day to not being on the mat. So I'm just not burning as much calories as I used to. Even if I do my own training, just being on the mat, walking around, correcting students, kicking them in the face, rolling, sparring, you just act hyperactive, aren't you? You're just burning lots of calories. So then if you're sat in front of a laptop, even if you do an hour's work of training or padlock, it's not enough. So more salads and maybe kicking more people in the face.
At the same time. Fantastic.
I'll try. I'll let you know.
Well, thank you, sir, as always. Have a good weekend with your salads and your syllabus. and we'll catch up again next time.
Will do, matey. Thank you. Cheers.
Brought to you by www.mittmaster.com.
So a big thanks to Matt again. A really insightful little chat there, as always. One thing I do actually want to quickly mention as well for Matt is he's just recently mentioned on Facebook that he's launching a new service. It's called Mittmaster Marketing, and this is just from the blurb that he posted. Here's how it works. Most instructors... Let's start that again. Most instructors who book me for a Mittmaster seminar also need a little help with their school marketing, so why not combine them both? So here's what you get. A 2.5-hour Mittmaster seminar at your school. After we finish sweating, I'll then do a 2.5-hour marketing consultation with yourself and your staff. So combining two really cool things there into one. So if that's something that you're interested in, do get in touch with Max. I know I get a lot of people that contact me to say, oh, I've got a workshop booked with Matt. He's going to come and teach at my school. Can you give it a mention on the podcast, etc.? Well, this best of both worlds. You get to do the physical side and then work on the marketing and the building of your business as well at the same time. So having attended some of his workshops in the past, the learning side of things, the business side of things, I can wholeheartedly recommend it. And obviously getting to chat with him every week on the podcast too also gives me some sort of insight into his knowledge. So definitely give it some thought. Two birds and all that. So get in touch with him. So thank you all again for listening this week. If you could please help us out by liking our podcast group. So if you look up Kickback Podcast or Kickback with Chris the Martial Arts Podcast, give us a like, give us a share, and all that usual good stuff. It really does help to spread the word. If you can give this episode a share on Facebook too, and why not? Because it's a fantastic one. It really does help to spread the news of what we're doing and the good word of martial arts and the UK industry. All right, guys, thanks again for your time, and I'll catch up with you all again very soon.
Enjoy our podcast? Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review Kickback with Chris on iTunes today.